What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 31st JavaScript tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you about a couple new methods. The first method I want to talk about is something called the join method. Now what the join method does is it takes an array, it converts it to a string. So this method is really useful whenever you have an array and you want to output all the elements to the user. So this is the main method that people use whenever they're converting it to a string. So again, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So let's go ahead and create an array of my favorite movies and just set equal to new array, and I'm gonna go ahead and Avatar. That was a pretty good movie, even though I'm spelling it wrong. And let's see, Good Will Hunting, one of my faves. And let's see, Vanilla Sky, kind of quirky, but hey, I liked it. And let's add one more. Fight. Wow, definitely typed that wrong. Fight Club, just like that. So now let's see how many movies I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 elements in the array. So if you're saying, alright, what's an easy way where we can convert this to a string? Well, what we can do is go ahead and make a regular variable and just go ahead and name it string1. So we're going to make a string variable. So in order to do this, here's what we need to do. Go ahead and write the name of your array, movies, and then go ahead using a dot separator, we're going to call the method join. Now it doesn't take any parameters, and what it does is it's going to take every element in your array, separate it with a comma, and convert it to a string. So now that string is stored in the variable string1. So now whenever we want to write this on the screen, we just have to write string1. And now let's go ahead and save this and see what we get. Avatar, Good Will Hunting, Vanilla Sky, and Fight Club. And as I told you, it doesn't take any parameters, and whenever it doesn't take any parameters, by default it separates your list with a comma. But if you're saying, alright, what if I want to separate it with something other than a comma, like a hyphen or something like that? Well, it doesn't take any parameters by default, but you can pass in a parameter if you want. It's optional. If you do pass in a parameter, then it's gonna exchange that comma for something else. So for example, if we use a hyphen instead of nothing, what it does is it changes all those commas to hyphens. So check it out. Now you can have a customized string depending on, well, first you need to use that join method, and it actually depends on what parameter you pass it in. And one thing you may have noticed, make sure you pass your parameters in between quotation marks, because you're passing it in as a string technically. So just want to throw that out there. So now we know how to convert an array to a string. Pretty cool, definitely useful. But another method that I want to teach you guys about is called the pop method, P-O-P. And what this does is it removes the last element from an array. So for example, I have 4 elements in here, and the index is 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's go ahead and just write out like document dot write. Let's go ahead and write the last element just to verify that it is indeed there, and that would be movies index 3. And let's go ahead and add a break because we're going to be needing it later on. So now what should appear is Fight Club. It's the 3rd index, which is the 4th element. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So Fight Club, as we just saw on the screen, is the last element in the array. So now if we call this pop method, and in order to do that, just go ahead and write the name of your array object, movies, and add pop. Now pop doesn't take any parameters, but what it does do is it's pretty much gonna alter your array where it's still called movies, but now instead of having 4 elements, it only has 3. So now your movies array consists of Avatar, Good Will Hunting, and Vanilla Sky. So now we're saying, alright, what happens if we try to document.write that element out now, which is movies 3. Well, movies 3 doesn't even exist anymore since it only has 0, 1, 2. So it's going to give you an undefined. So check it out. At beginning, we made an array called movies. It had 4 elements. Whenever we printed out the last element, it gave us Fight Club. appropriate. And then we altered the array. We said, alright, for this movies array, call the method pop. And what this pop did is it took the last element and it popped it off. So now our array only had 3 elements, 0, 1, and 2. So whenever we tried to print out the 4th element, it said undefined. So that is what the pop method does. It pretty much removes the last element from the array. And what we can do here is call it again, and then it would only have 2 in it. So again, we can call it as many times as we want. It's pretty much simple, self-explanatory. So now that you saw it, you can begin moving on to my next tutorial. So remember, join converts an array to a string, and pop removes the last element from the array. So as long as you understand those concepts, you're ready to move on to my next tutorial. So thank you guys very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next video.